everybody. Tutti Frutti old Rudy. Old Rudy. Anyway, back to Life with the Rife Eskimo Pie Series, session number 9. And we are one away, gentlemen, from the grand finale, which is session number 10. So I've got a lot of stuff. See, it's so big you can't even see it in the screen, to squeeze down into one more episode, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it will to be done, okay? Because I'm sure you guys are about bored of this whole story as I am to tell it. Wrong, man. This is an exciting love story. I'd love to tell this story. And, you know, one day when you're out, you know, running a youth camp or your church or whatever, you can give old Dustin a phone call or some sort of Tweety Bird shout out or something like that to get me to come and tell it live. So think about it. You know, I do accept all major credit cards, checks, cash, money order, Western Union, you know, whatever. Anyway, back to the story of my life, and hopefully inspires yours, because it was written by God himself. Okay. Last we left off was I sent the text message and went crazy and stuff like that, and was praying in the prayer closet, and you know, God started allowing things to work out between me and Kristen. Like I said last video, not that that was, you know, expected. Hey God, if I go pray in my closet, will you work everything out with me and Kristen? You know, wasn't nothing like that, because I knew that that's not how God operated. I knew enough to know that. But it was a chance worth taking. So I was like, I'm gonna man up. I'm gonna ask Kristen to talk. Now, prior to this manning up, Kristen and I had kind of talked, you know, awkwardly a couple of times. Once at a soccer game, you know, we went to the Hangar. For those of you that know what that is, it's a little food court here on campus. And I truly believe that prior to me spending some time with the Lord, I could have carried on a better conversation with the President of the United States than what I did with Kristen on those 2 separate occasions. So, needless to say, I was nervous when I got around this girl, because she's just, you know, just a godly woman, and you know, I was a guy pursuing a godly woman and didn't even have a clue, because I never really pursued someone after God's heart severely up to that point, and just I didn't even know how to go about doing anything like that. And so I remember it was September 11th, because I went to a Virginia Tech football game, and they had a time of remembrance for September 11th, and they had this big B-52 bomber or whatever they have nowadays. It was a bombing jet flew over Virginia Tech Stadium and just shook you to death, you know, and you're like, whoa, man, I'd hate to be the guy on the receiving end of that beast when it flies over, you know. And so anyway, I remember driving back in my pickup truck. Like I say, a lot of fundamental moments in that truck. And you know, I was like, all right, Lord, you know, I called Kristen. It was too late to go out to a movie. Got back late. She's like, well, let's just sit out in front of dorm 13, which is like dorm 96-302 now. They changed the numbers. And we sit out there, and I brought my secret weapon, man. I brought all the letters she had ever written me. I kept them. Put them in a Ziploc bag, keep the moisture out, you know. That way, you know, if I ever needed to bring those back up, you know, one day to show my great grandkids, still readable, you know. So I didn't bring them out yet. We started talking, and I told her, I said, all right, Kristen, you need to know this. You know, what are my intentions? I came up here to pursue you, but I'm in no big hurry unless it's God's timing. You know, I was trying to sound all Christian cliche and everything on her, and which is, I was telling the truth. I didn't know any other way to tell it, but it came out Christian cliche some. But I did tell her this. I said, Kristen, you know, I have dishonored the Lord in the past in certain ways, and I'm tired of that. And I said, I know that, you know, Not saying things are going to be perfect in our relationship if we go that route. You know, I'm talking like it's going to happen. You know, confidence. confidence. And so I told her, I said, now, Kristen, you need to know this. The next girl I kiss, okay, will be on my wedding day. I just need to say that, you know, and we'd known each other for like 5 years at this point, 4.5, 5 years. We didn't just meet as freshmen. That's not the conversation you want to have when you get together for the first couple of times, man. So if you think, you know, watching this video and you go meet a girl and you tell her all these things up front, you're going to be single and 45 and all alone. Okay, so think about that before you talk. I mean, we had built our friendship here, so we had some foundations where I could just lay it out on her. Okay, you do need to be honest with your intentions, though. Just maybe not on the first date or first outing. But I said, you know, I don't want to dishonor the Lord anymore. I've already been down that road, and if you're okay with that, I would, you know, like to kind of pray about pursuing that possibility. You know, just kind of laid it out there, and she started talking about how she felt the same way too. And I pulled out the letters, and she's like, hold on a second. So she runs upstairs and goes and gets all the letters I wrote her and brings them down. And we're having this big letter reunion right out in the front yard of East 13, man. It's sacred ground. I like to take my hat off and stuff when I walk by that grass and all kinds of stuff. We strolled Dylan down that beast right now. Oh, I'm giving away the whole story. You know, we take him through there. So, you know, we're kind of reminiscing. And one letter in particular, I'll share that with you. I remember writing Chris, and I was like, it was so nice talking with you at camp. You're just so good to get everything off. Just, you know, I feel so comfortable around you. And I was like, I wish we lived on the same sidewalk to where we could meet each other and talk anytime we wanted to, you know. And that was, you know, years prior to us even being sitting in the front of East 13. But ironically, man, we were living on the same sidewalk on East Campus. It was crazy, ludicrous. I mean, Chris was scared to death. You know, I was like, you know, going crazy because we lived on the same sidewalk. Something I'd written that I wished years prior to, and so that was pretty cool. I'm not going to write a book on it and make millions, and you know, say that was, you know, 199,000% of the Lord. I mean, I'm sure he had a hand in it, because obviously we're there. And so, and Kristen laid some ultimatums down for me if I was to pursue her. She said, well, you have to get permission from my dad. And I'm like, oh, I've never had to do that, you know. And so I remember a few weeks later, Kristen and I kind of kept talking, and you know, kind of our relationship just kind of kept going as we were still pursuing the Lord. That's the key, man. And so, you know, her family came in to eat at McAdoo's or Mikado's or whatever you want to call it. I call it food, okay? And so, in a restaurant. So we went out and ate at that, and you know, I kind of built up the nerve to ask her dad. You know, I'm sitting there, I was like, Mr. Darden, I heard, you know, I'm trying to act all cool and everything. I heard that I have to ask you permission to date your daughter. He goes, that's correct. I said, well, I'm not going to do that. You know, you could almost heard the brakes screech and halt there, you know, hypothetically. They really didn't. I said, I'm not going to do that. I want you and your wife, Karen, to go home and be praying about this. And if you think that it's okay for me to date your daughter, you let her know, and we'll go from there, you know. And, you know, thinking that I had a few months, you know, all this stuff. And he looked me dead in the eye, and he said, we've been praying about this for months, and we think it's okay. And so, man, I was like, whoa, man, I finished scarfing down my pretzels, and we got out of there. And, you know, I was like, hey, there's no need for me to wait no more. I think this is God's timing if there ever was time. And again, I'm not going to write a book about it, make millions. But yet, I was like, man, I can't disagree with this. And so on September 29th, 2000, let me get this date right, 5/4. You have to look it up in the Liberty Journal. It's detailed. I do know when we got married. Oh, giving away the story. Giving away the story. Sorry about that. When we started dating on September 29th. And that night, man, I was like, hey, here we go. And so, men, tune in next week to see how we got from, you know, September 29th dating to can't give away the rest of the story. So, so tune in next week for that. And I will show you, men, a kiss that I guarantee you've never seen at a wedding before. And just how awesome. I get taken back by it every time I watch it. Oh, giving away the story again. Okay. Next week, man. Love you guts. And bye-bye.